Hello, hi everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by Docsity in partnership with NHH Norwegian School of Economics. My name is Carolina, nice to meet you all, and I'll be your host for today's event on behalf of Docsity. I see here that the first people are already starting to join in. We are gonna wait a few minutes before starting to allow everyone to connect. In the meantime, feel free to say hi on our chat here in Zoom, and please tell us where you are from. We are curious. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us and thank our panelists for being here with us today. I want to introduce you to all. Guro Rozai, Higher Executive Officer, Arno Johannes Monster, Advisor, and Akon Otnheim, Associate Professor in the Department of Business and Management. We also have with us Lars Ivar Berge and 3 students at NHH, Dennis Löfer, Matilda Okuli, and Shania Kalpe. Welcome. Together with them, we're going to explore the bachelor's program in business, economics, and data science. We are going to see what it's like to study business, economics, and data science in Norway. And we will learn more about the benefits in the academic offer at NHH. We'll see why you should choose to study at NHH, and you'll have the possibility to interact with our speakers and ask them questions. Talking about that, I'd like to remind you that after the presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you will be able to ask direct questions to the panelists. So don't be shy and just type all of your questions in the Q&A section here on Zoom, and we'll go through them at the end of the webinar. Also, for those of you interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Docsity for this free masterclass, stay tuned because we will post the link to get the certificate at the end of the session. So I think that we are able to start now. Welcome to those who just joined us, and without further ado, I'm now leaving the floor to our panelists for their presentation. See you later and enjoy.
Yes, I would just start by sharing my screen. Yes, thank you, Carolina, for that introduction, and thank you all for joining us for this webinar about our new bachelor program in business, economics, and data science. My name is Guro, and I work in marketing and admission at Norwegian School of Economics, NHH. I will start by giving a brief introduction to NHH, and then I will hand the word over to Håkon, the academic director of the bachelor program. He will give you an introduction to the program's feature and present the academic structure. After that, he will hand it over to Anoud from the admission section. He will talk about the admission process, and then we will hear about some of our students, ambassadors joining us here today, and they will tell you about why they choose to study at NHH, and how is the student life in Bergen and in Norway, and how is the student life at NHH. NHH is a public business school located along the breathtaking view along the coast of Norway in the charming city of Bergen. As a student at NHH, you become a part of an incredible learning environment. This is due to NHH's vibrant student campus, active learning community, and the quality of education. With our over 700 students, we offer a diverse student campus. NHH is triple cone accredited, which is a testimony of its high quality in education. In fact, only 1% of all business schools in the world have this accreditation. There are 455 dedicated employees, including 281 faculty members and researchers who ensures the highest quality in education and research. The school collaborates with over 190 universities and business schools in more than 50 countries, providing students with an international perspective and business economics. And there are no tuition fees for EU and EEA or Swiss students. And also our student welfare organization, Sammen, offers guaranteed housing for international students coming to NHH. And now I will hand it over to Håkon.
Thank you, Gyo, and it is a great pleasure for me to present a brand new international bachelor program here at the Norwegian School of Economics, or NHH, as we say. So this program really answers the need for a deep understanding of the digital technologies in a world that is skimming with valuable information, or potentially valuable information, as we say, because what we really need here is a new set of technical skills that we need in order to navigate, to innovate, and to create in a very data-rich environment. So what we now offer here at NHH is the opportunity to learn data science, or the skills of data science, in combination with broad and solid education in business and economics. So my name is Håkon Otnheim. I am the academic director of the brand new Bachelor of Business, Economics and Data Science here at NHH. I have been teaching here at NHH for about 7 years in subjects like statistics, programming, and data science. And for the past year or so, I have been leading this effort to develop the new program that you are presented with today. So what I would like to do is to just highlight some of the basic ideas that we have for that really underpins this new program. And I would like to do that by putting it into the context of the school, because NHH is not a very big school, but it is a school where we have a long tradition for offering bachelor education in economics and business administration, in Norwegian, that is. So in fact, for the past several decades, our only offering on the bachelor level has been a rock solid bachelor program. It has been and is still very popular, and something that we are quite proud of, to be honest. But we do have international offerings on the master level and on the PhD level. So when we now double the number of bachelor programs, so to speak, and for the first time invite international bachelor students to NHH, we can do so from quite the unique perspective. So the new Bachelor in Business, Economics and Data Science will be taught entirely in English. We're using an international faculty, and we really have to design this program and all of its courses entirely from the ground up, because our existing program is in Norwegian. This new one will be in English, but that also gives us this unique opportunity to really design all the aspects of the learning experience and to integrate that into the program as a whole, which will make this program very coherent and something that we are very excited about launching next year. So our first question when we started developing this program was, what are the challenges that face the business student, the business graduate in the time to come? And there are, of course, many interesting answers to that question. Our answer is that this successful candidate will be technologically savvy, in the sense that he or she will be able to participate in programming activities in a data science context, a data science environment. And also that they can really understand the fundamentals, the potential, and also the limitations of the modern analytical tools such as machine learning and AI. So when we designed this program, we integrated these skills into the broader context of a business education. In fact, we would go so far as to say that this integration of skills is really what characterizes our new program. So we have organized teams of educators from various disciplines who are, as we speak, actually designing their learning activities to support our broader mission of creating this complete candidate who is not only going to be successful, but also to really thrive in a very fast-changing world. So on the next slide, you will see the topics that comprise this program. And you see really these two dimensions that I've been talking about. So the first 5 rows of topics, of courses, they are in this business foundation, this business component of the program. And you see courses like technology management, sustainable value creation, which are really important topics here at NHH. But you also see those more traditional topics such as finance, economics, strategy and management. But also those topics, those courses are designed now completely from the ground up, so that they can really employ and make use of those technical competencies that we develop in the second dimension of the program, which you see in the lower row of courses, the tech sequence, the yellow courses there. And those are really the core content of this program, where you will learn mathematics, relevant mathematics, the statistics and data science, and not in the least computer programming, which is very important in this program. And if we move on to the next slide, you will see that we also organize these courses in semesters. So there are 6 semesters in a 3-year program. And you see that each semester has this topic, this overarching mission that it tries to address. And we have tried to make these missions, these topics of increasing complexity, of increasing scope, where we start in the very middle, the innermost circle, so to speak, with the firm and its role in the society. We then move on outwards to the customers, management, the technological change. We then go on to the markets before we end up with addressing the really big picture, the international global picture of creating value in a sustainable and a responsible way. So what I will highlight here is the 4th semester, which we have dedicated completely to let you explore the many international exchange opportunities that we can organize from NHH. As Gulo said, we have agreements with 190 universities and business schools all over the world in more than 50 countries, and more than half of our students go on exchange during their studies. If you would rather stay in Bergen for that semester, as I totally understand if you want to do that, you can choose courses from our catalog of electives instead. We have even started now a pilot project here at NHH, where we send out bachelor students on international internships that we combine with an academic component here at NHH. So we really look forward to offer also that option in the 4th semester of the new Bachelor of Business Economics and Data Science. So we just finally mention the possibilities that you have after a bachelor degree, which is here at NHH, you can move on to do a full master degree. If we can go on to the next slide. So all the bachelor graduates at NHH have the opportunity to move on to the master degree, and they have a guaranteed admission to that program. And I would just mention that we have then several different specializations that you can choose from on the master program. If I should mention only one of them, then that would perhaps be the business analytics profile, where you can really develop further the technical competencies that you gain in the Bachelor of Business Economics and Data Science. But here you can also choose many different options if you would rather do something else then. So that's all from me, and I'll leave the floor to Arnoud, I think.
Yes, thank you, Håkon. Hello, everybody. Nice of you all to share your valuable time with us tonight here in Bergen. My name is Arnoud Monster, and I'm part of the admissions team at NHH. Tonight I would like to cover some of the essentials of the admission process and the admission specifically for this particular program, the Business Economics and Data Science program. Before I go into those essentials, I would like to clarify that the content of this presentation tonight relates to the intake of 24-25, so as of next year's August. So the admission requirements after 2024 can and most likely will change. So if you are not eager to start the program next year, but in the year after, please do keep an eye out on our website. So to dive into the essentials, so the two most important things for the admission for the program starting next year in August 24, and to be considered for admission is the fact that we expect you to have an upper secondary school degree which is issued in the EU or Switzerland or the UK. That's essential. The other basic requirement for the intake of next year is that candidates must be holding a passport from the EU or the European Economic Area, Switzerland or the United Kingdom. If we move to the next slide, you will see that the upper secondary school degree is rather essential to the intake for this particular program. What is important to understand is that the admission compares the diplomas, which we will evaluate, based on the national diploma here in Norway. So that is actually the level playing field here for us. If you want to know how you're doing in terms of your upper secondary degree from any of the EU countries or the UK, you will be able to see a very detailed list of the various diplomas issued here in Europe. Those are visible on our website, where you can select the country where you received your degree, and all the specifics in relation to that particular degree will be mentioned. One of those specific elements will be mathematics and what we expect in terms of the grades, the minimum grades you achieved within the subject of mathematics. Those are also mentioned in that particular database I was just referring to. The same applies to English proficiency. English proficiency obviously is very important for this particular program as it is fully taught in English. And therefore we put extra emphasis on the admission in relation to English proficiency. If you would like to get an rough idea of that level, many of you know the existence of standardized tests like TOEFL or IELTS. Well, if we look at TOEFL, then the minimum overall score we expect to see from applicants is 60. If we go over to the IELTS standardized test, then we expect you to have a minimum overall band score of 5. Last but not least, on a high level, we expect all applicants to have above average performance or showed above average performance during their upper secondary school trajectory. So keep that in mind as well. We do not really have specifics in terms of certain minimum grades we expect, but as a rule of thumb, you can be assured that we expect students to have at least 70% or 7 as a GPA score on a scale from 1 to 10. But we all will look at the different grading systems which are being used in the EU and obviously calculate that towards the system we're familiar with here locally. If we move over to the next slide, that will cover the different processes. So we have actually two separate processes. These are clearly defined and described on our website. And let me start with the column which you see on your screen right now on the left side. That is the application process and the deadlines for those who hold a Nordic upper secondary degree. And to be clear, the Nordics are being defined as obviously Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Iceland. The application period for students with those degrees is 1 February next year until the 15th of April of next year. Do keep in mind, if you go through the system, that there is a minimum language requirement in relation to Norwegian, Danish, and Swedish. You will find all the details on the Samordna Opptak webpage through which you need to submit your application. If you move over to the next column, the right column on your screen, that gives you the process for those who do not hold a Nordic degree. Those students, again, need to hold a passport from the EU and the EEA and Switzerland or the UK. And for them, the application period will be between the 1st of November and the 1st of December of this year. Keep that in mind, because the 1st of November is approaching rather quickly. All documents, including your degree, must be uploaded before the 1st of December. The application will be facilitated through Søknadsweb, as it is called locally, and you will find all the details and also the link to this particular environment on our website. Please be aware that the application opens on the 1st of November, so you cannot access this particular environment yet. So all the criteria in relation to what you need to do are clearly mentioned on our website. So please have a thorough look at the process and the steps we describe on our website. So let's move over to the last slide. On this particular slide, you will see that I again emphasize the need for you to read the admission patients carefully. Most of your questions will be answered on that particular site, and it also gives you a very thorough overview of what you need to upload during the application process. These guidelines in relation to the uploading is rather important, so read those carefully. Because once you are in the system, we want you to upload the right documents for us not to be confused what we need to assess. For those who seek admission based on a non-Nordic degree, so those degrees issued in Europe, it's very important for you to understand that this degree must be in your possession before the 1st of December. So we do not validate or assess predicted grades. You have to have your degree already in hand. That being said, we will not assess any pre-screening questions during that period. So we really expect you to upload the documents and all the information necessary through the different systems we just discussed. So we will not give you any idea about your chances of being admitted to the program through email. That's simply because we want to carefully assess your application, read all the documentation and information before we can give you a conclusive answer. If we move over to the topic of tuition and fees, Gura already mentioned the fact that for EU and EEA citizens, as well as Swiss nationals, there is no tuition fee in place. For those who hold a passport which is non-European in this coming year, so only the UK nationals will qualify to that. The tuition fee will be 130,000 Norwegian kroner a year, which is roughly speaking 13,000 euros per year. I saw a question in the chat about scholarships. NHH is a publicly funded institution and therefore there are no scholarships available. What I do suggest is that if you're keen on exploring the possibilities for tuition fees, waivers or scholarships, to visit the studyinnorway.no website. You will find some more information about possible scholarships there. And I definitely recommend you to also investigate scholarship opportunities locally in the country you're residing in. Last but not least, also that particular topic Guro already quickly mentioned, is housing. For those students who apply through the non-Nordic route, which I described earlier, so that's the degrees from Europe, with the exception of Scandinavia. Those students are guaranteed of housing. And we organize this through the national or the local student association summon. I leave it to that. Thanks for your attention. And I will give the floor now to our enthusiastic students who can tell you more about their experiences here in Bergen and specifically with NHH.
Thank you, Arne. I will just give a quick introduction to our lovely student ambassadors, Dennis, Matilda, and Shania. Dennis is from Germany, Matilda is from France, and Shania is from Canada. We will start by hearing from Shania about why she chose NHH.
Hi, thanks for joining us today. So basically, there were three main reasons why I chose NHH as an international student. So the reputation, obviously, we spoke about NHH having Triple Crown accreditation, which is not many schools could say. And you feel that energy throughout the school. The fact that most students know how valuable it is to be at NHH comes through the career events that they have here, the opportunities to meet companies and possibly future career paths from the opportunities that are provided at NHH is something that is very unique to the school. I guess that goes into my second point of they really try to build you up in terms of career and help you form those intangible assets that would make you succeed in the real world, which is something that you can't find at many universities. And then finally, the student life, which is definitely a good work-life balance. They do value your studies here, but they also value your downtime, enjoying your time in Bergen because it is a very beautiful city. And they also have we also have one of the biggest student club associations here. So if you like hiking or baking or just want to join a club, there's something for everyone. So that community that you form, regardless of if it's in your classroom or outside, you really feel it, and you form a home away from home. And I think it's a very welcoming school to be a part of. And so I'm going to pass it on to Dennis to talk more about the actual NHH life here.
Yes, thank you very much, Shania. And why you might ask yourself now, okay, those are valid reasons, but what's in it for me? Let me tell you about the NHH student life, or the NHH experience, as we say. First of all, NHH has one of the most active student associations called NHHS, with more than 130 student groups to choose from. And 130 is really a lot. So those range from esports over to sport clubs to outdoor activities or financial and entrepreneurial groups. So there's a big variety that you can choose from. Personally, I joined a soccer club, and it's been a great opportunity for me to play the sport I love, also get to know new people and have many social events where I even get to meet more people. Generally speaking, NHH students are among the most satisfied students in Norway. And at the same time, a survey shows that we do feel academically challenging. So again, relating to the academic excellence at NHH. Also, we have a large group of alumni, which you will see throughout your studies, whether it's on business presentations, career fairs, or even as your mentor. So really, emphasizing here that our alumni also play a big role at the NHH experience. Moreover, even though you might not even think about it right now, one day comes a day where you have to graduate and pursue your career, and NHH also cares about your career. And this is why we cooperate with many corporate and social partners, which have the mission of bringing value to you and prepare you for your career. This might be work opportunities, business cases, research, lectures, anything. So to sum it all up, there's a lot of people and resources involved in giving you a great experience at NHH. And with that being said, I'll pass it on to Matilda.
Hi, everyone. So I'm briefly going to talk to you about the student life in Bergen. So you probably agree that the student life is not all about studying and lectures. You also have to have a life on the side of that, which they really value here. So choosing your place to study is a very important aspect when you choose your business school. And Bergen might be a new city for you, and you might even arrive to a new country. So it's very important for you to do your research and know what the city has to offer. So as an international student myself, I can really assure you that Bergen has something to offer for everyone, and it really is a great city for students. It has beautiful nature that is very easily accessible. There are 7 mountains to climb around the city, and they're really only a few minutes away from the center. All institutions and the business schools are also centrally located, so you get to meet students from other universities as well, and everything is very easily accessible. The city has around 30,000 students, and you can really see that Bergen is a vibrant city where you go out in town and there are many, many things going on, and there's always something to visit and explore. There are many cultural events such as concerts, orchestras. You can go to the theater. You'll find nice cafes as well. You can find pub quizzes and bars. And there are also many museums to visit if you're into that as well. And finally, something that's very important is that you can get a housing guarantee if you apply within the specified deadline. So usually that is a big stress when you move to somewhere new in a new country. So that really takes off a lot off of your mind, and you're very likely to be living somewhere very close to campus with a short commute distance.
Yes, and lastly, if in case Bergen is not enough for you, Norway definitely has some more treasures waiting for you. First of all, beautiful or breathtaking fjords, which are not only nice to look at, but you really get a recharging effect from it. If I personally talk about my experiences, but also you can, for example, do a guided glacier area tour. But my highlight actually are the northern lights. It's when Norway skies come to life with a dancing curtain of green and purple colors. And a few weeks ago, I could actually see them from my student apartment here at NHH. So even if you don't travel through Norway, you have a good chance of seeing the northern lights. In addition, if you're into skiing, you will certainly find great destinations and offering fun slopes and beautiful scenery. And while you're here, you should definitely also not miss out on other cities that Norway has to offer. For example, urban Oslo or coastal Stavanger or historical Trondheim. So yeah, that's it from our side. And I'll pass it on to Guro again, I think.
Yes, thank you for that. Before we go over to the Q&A session, I will recommend you to chat with our student ambassadors on our webpage. There you can meet Matilda, Dennis, and Shania, but also some of our other student ambassadors. And they also write blog posts that I recommend you checking out. They write about the student life, how it was to apply to NHH, yeah, everything you might wonder about. Then I think we will move over to the Q&A session.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you to the panelists and to people who joined us. I see here we already have some questions from the participants. I'd like to remind you that there's still time to ask questions, and you can do so by writing here in the Q&A box. So I'd say, let's start with the first one. That is there a minimum English language proficiency requirement for participation in the course?
Yes, I can answer that question. Yes, there is, and I touched upon that during my presentation. Please do check out the requirements in relation to your specific degree, and you will find all the details there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Another question is, will we learn about artificial intelligence and machine learning?
I can take that one. The answer is yes. We have a course in application design, which is where using AI tools to do your development is a very central topic. And we also have a course in, I don't recall the name exactly, but it's, I don't know if we should put up the course list again. Can we do that very quickly? Yeah, no, it's fine. It's called the data science. I think it was called data science and econometrics, which is where you will learn about machine learning. But we also have, as I mentioned, a very nice master program with a profile that I mentioned called business analytics, where these topics also are very central to the course. Here we see it. We have Tech 5 and Tech 6 in the program, in the list of courses where these topics are very central. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Another question asked us, good evening. Thank you very much for the session and for sharing these details. On the previous slide, what wasn't very clear is for a student like me who is holding an Indian passport but pursuing the Cambridge A level for my secondary school exam. So international students like me, do we qualify to apply to NHH for this program, please?
Yes, I will take that question. Thank you for the question. So in your particular case, for the program starting next year, so August 24, you are not eligible and considered for admission, since you do not hold an EU or EA or Swiss or UK passport, and your upper secondary school degree, the Cambridge A level, is issued outside of the EU. So again, for the intake of next year, you're not eligible.
Thank you so much. Okay, and the next question is there any age limit to join the degree program?
I will take that as well. No, there is no age limit for admission into higher education in Norway. However, I always do tell people that you need to be aware of the fact that in the bachelor program, you will be surrounded by students of 18, 19 years old. So you need to relate to their environment, and it's full-time education. So you need to be aware of that.
Of course, perfect. Thank you. Let's move to the other question. Is if you can consider to enlarge the programs to international applicants maybe later?
The answer to that is yes. That's what I said in the beginning of my presentation. So, or I should say, most likely, yes. I saw another question about us being very strict in relation to admission. That's a good question, and you're right. The reason for that, as I saw that quite a few of the questions were related to that, is the fact that, as you might have known, is that the Norwegian government changes their regulations to those who do not hold an EU and EA passport. So, for example, these students will be faced with substantial tuition fees. There are also very stringent and carefully administrated visa requirements in relation to those students residing or holding a passport which is outside of the EU, EEA, Switzerland, and the UK on a bachelor's level. So we took all those aspects into consideration, and as this is a new program, we closely monitor those governmental policies regarding foreign students. As we all here at NHH take much care about the learning environment, but as well that we would like to establish clear criteria. It doesn't make sense for us to open it up and at the same time immigration is not issuing visas for particular students. So those are our considerations to the rules you've been presented.
Thank you so much. I see another question that asks us if you can send the presentation, please. But I think that maybe they can go to the website to see all the details about the application, right?
Yes, I will recommend checking out our webpage instead of this presentation, because the webpage will give you such more than this presentation. We will have a lot more details and explanations about the study program and also about the admission criteria.
Perfect, thank you. The next question is, are there any student support groups available as well?
I'm not sure about which support groups you're mentioning, but I can mention that we have a lot of the student welfare organization, Sammen. They offers a lot more than just housing. They offers like support for student counseling for students, and we also have counseling here at NHH, and also they give you an overview of where you can get your dentist appointments, or they give you everything.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, what if a student is studying here in Norway at an international school doing IB?
Yes, I will take that question, and the next question actually also relates to that particular topic. Yes, you will be eligible. So again, I would like to invite you to visit our website. You find the details in relation to the IB degree and which route to go for in relation to the process. That depends if you meet the Norwegian language requirements, and you'll find more information about that on the admission page of this particular bachelor program. But the high-level answer to your question is yes, you can apply.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think you have answered also to the next question.
Yes.
And about the next one, students have the opportunity to gain active experience in the world of work.
I'm not entirely sure exactly what is meant by this question. Guro, do you have anything to say here?
If the question is they're allowed to work in Norway next to their studies, the answer is yes. And but you have to be reminded that this is a full-time study. But most of the students in Norway, they work part-time during their studies, even in the evenings, or if they have some days that they don't have like a full day of lectures, or some also works in the weekends. So there usually are great opportunities to get like a part-time job on the side of your studies.
I would just like to add that we also hire a good number of students every year as teaching assistants at our school. And on the master program, that's where we have international students. Right now, we hire plenty of international students every year, and I do that myself. And then when we now get English courses also on the bachelor level, I think there will be plenty of opportunity for an ambitious student to also work at the school, which is a very nice experience, I think.
Perfect, thank you. And the next one is a more general question, and maybe the students can give us some testimonials, and is how is the quality life in Norway?
I could start off the answer to this question. Well, for me, it's actually a high quality life here in Norway. Besides studies, you either have the city or the center of Bergen, where you can, I don't know, just do shopping or walk around, stroll through cafes. But at the same time, if you need a recharge, you can go to the mountains, which is just 10 to 15 minutes way. So you really have the best of both worlds, and that really I would say has a good effect on your overall health and quality of life here in Norway, and really leverages your studies here.
Thank you so much. I think it's precious. The next one is, can I have more information about the dormitory for students if you have one?
I think I can answer that one. So if you want more information about the residences, you can look at Sammen website. You also find a link on it through NHH website. And so you have access to the information on the different residences they offer. And you would be more likely to end up in Hatleberg, which is 5 minutes away from the university. And it's very nice. You get your own room and your own bathroom, and then you live in a flat and you share the kitchen with 5 or 6 other students.
Thank you. I think that this is connected to the next question, that is if it's guaranteed only for non-Nordic students, or if there's the possibility for Nordic students to go to the dormitory.
I can answer this question. If you are applying through some honor opptak, if you fulfill the Nordics requirements there are no guarantee for housing. But my experience, and there are very, very good possibilities to get housing in Bergen, and you can also apply through Sammen, and there are most people do not find it difficult to find housing here in Bergen. There are good opportunities both through Sammen and in the private market.
Perfect, thank you. Another question is, in semester 4, there is an exchange program offered for internships. Which countries are included?
So here I need to be maybe a bit clearer than I was in my presentation. In semester 4, we offer the opportunity to go on academic exchange, and there we have agreements with universities in more than 50 countries. And I don't know this list of countries by heart, but I'm sure it will be somewhere on our website. I'm getting you.
I can add it here on our webpage. If you just go to the exchange page, you can see the list of all the countries, and I think the country you are looking for will be on the list. And
so the question then mentioned internships, right? Which I talked about in a different setting. So regarding internships, we are now starting to create a pilot. The first students will leave for South Africa, I think, in the spring semester, where they will do an internship in a company in South Africa and also do academic work in the University of Cape Town, if I'm not entirely mistaken. So what we will do is to evaluate the experience from that pilot, and when we come to 2021, it has to be 2025 or 26 when the first cohort of students in this new program will reach their fourth semester. I think we will know much more about the opportunities of doing an internship as part of your studies. But as of today, I cannot say exactly what that will look like. So we have to separate between academic exchange, where you go to a university, for which we have systems in place, and internship, which is a pilot that we are currently developing.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And the next one is again about IB. If you have graduated with an IB high school diploma, is mathematics IESL sufficient for admission?
So yes, the answer to that question is standard level high enough. Yes, the answer is yes. If you go to the page I mentioned before with the country list, with the EU countries in that particular list, you will find IB mentioned in that list as well. And you will find the specifics in relation to mathematics.
Great, thank you. The next one is a proposal. Would you guys be willing to come out to our school to talk to our students in Stavanger?
I will answer this one, and we actually do a tour every year to talk about our student programs. I will recommend you to contact us by email, and we will see if we have maybe we're already planning to visit, or we can consider it and see which opportunities would be. But it would be great to hear which school you are from and about your students there. And yeah.
Great, thank you. Fantastic. The next one is about the passport and the scope of admission. If a student holds a passport from EU, however, he or she completed upper secondary from outside of EU, is there any scope of admission? Are you planning to accept SAT?
Yes, thank you for that question. As mentioned before, in this particular case and for the intake of next year, so August 24, there is no scope for admission if you do not hold an upper secondary school degree from outside, which is issued outside of the EU. If we are planning to accept the SATs, that depends on the intake and the requirements and the process of the years to come. But that's always possible. But for now, I cannot give you any details about that simply because we don't have them. We are waiting for some policies to materialize here in Norway before we make any calls.
Okay, thank you. The next one is, what's the number of accepted students in the first year of the BSc program?
So for this program, we have the ambition to accept 40 to 50 international students and the same number of Norwegian or students coming from the Norwegian system. So that's our ambition. So approximately 80 to 100 students for the first year. And that will complement our other bachelor program, which will then be about 400 students. So about 500 bachelor students in total at NHH every year, and about 100 of those in this particular international program.
Okay, thank you. If a student is studying in English here in Norway in IB, do they still need the Norwegian language requirement to study in English bachelors?
Yes, thank you for the question. That depends. As I mentioned, there are two routes for admission. If a student is in the process of acquiring an upper secondary school degree and meets the Norwegian language requirement, he or she can apply through Samordna Opptak, and the details will be available on our website. If he or she will not fulfill that requirement, then it really depends whether he or she has the degree already before the 1st of December. If that's the case, then that person can apply through Søknadsweb web without any requirements in relation to the Norwegian language.
Fantastic, thank you. The next one is how we can apply for an internship if we're doing another university, in my case, global governance in Italy first year. And if this opportunity does exist, which are the criteria to be selected?
So we don't have an answer to that question right now. The opportunity of doing an internship is it's a new concept for NHH, which we are now working on implementing. If and hopefully when this will be in place, it will be half a year internships and probably then also combined with an academic component here at NHH. But again, it's difficult now to give any more specific answer to the question of internship than what we have already given here in this presentation.
Okay, thank you. And the next one is how much programming knowledge is expected of applicants?
There is no expectations of programming knowledge before you start the program. You will learn everything you need here.
Great, thank you. When would NHH likely review the criteria to include students from beyond the EU and UK? I think you've already answered this question. Would they get updated to the prospective students via email or on the website or both?
Yes, I understand that question. Yes, that's being evaluated continuously, but you can be assured that we will mention the new criteria during the summer of next year for the intake of the year after that. And we will definitely mention it on our website. So please keep an eye on the website.
Thank you. And the last one is if they apply for the December 1st deadline, when would they start? I think she's talking about the students, of course.
Yes, so I believe this question relates to when the program actually starts.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that will be mid-August 2024.
Okay, thank you. The last question is not a question, is an affirmation. Is thank you very much for this session and for answering the question asked. This was very informative and I agree with that. The last one is for me, when we can get the recording, I will put in the chat the possibility to compile the form to receive the certificate, and then at the end of the webinar, you will receive the recording. So I would like to thank again our panelists for being with us today and thank everyone for joining us and for your questions. I'd like to remind everyone interested in receiving again the certificate of attendance to compile the form that I will put in the chat right now. And before we say goodbye, I'd like to ask our panelists if they would like to leave our participants with a message.
Well, I can only say that I look very much forward to welcoming a great group of students. I really hope that we will be able to compose a group of where we can get a good mixture of the international students and the Norwegian students. We have very high ambitions for the academic level of the graduates from this program.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So thanks again, and I hope to see you again in the next webinar organized by Docsity in partnership with NHH. Bye everyone, and have a nice day and evening.